Well, joining me now is our Ukraine correspondent, Gulliver Cragg. Gulliver, what do you make of those allegations then that a dirty bomb could soon be used in the conflict?
Well, a group of foreign ministers of Ukraine's allies, including France's Catherine Colonna, have issued a statement saying no one will be fooled by these allegations. I think that's music to the ears of the Ukrainian leadership, but they don't want to take any chances. And just to make sure that they are being completely open about this, they have now invited the IAEA to send an inspection team to Ukraine to check for any preparations to make a dirty bomb, just to underscore the fact that they are absolutely denying this and they're absolutely open to anybody who wants to check. And what they're also doing, as we heard from President Volodymyr Zelensky, is saying that if Russia is accusing Ukraine of doing something, it often means that Russia is preparing actually to do it itself, and that therefore these statements coming from the Russians should be interpreted as more nuclear saber rattling from Moscow. And Ukraine has called on the international community to go to the UN Security Council. They've invoked Article 4 of the Budapest Memorandum, which says that the UN Security Council should be consulted in the case of any threat to use nuclear weapons against Ukraine. The Budapest Memorandum is the document that Ukraine, the United States and Great Britain signed in 1994 when Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons. And so Ukraine is once again pointing out, basically, that's all that this really does, that Russia's status as a permanent member of the UN Security Council gives Russia a veto over any international action against what Russia is doing, something that Ukraine and numerous experts and allies of Ukraine have been pointing out increasingly vocally is perhaps a rather big international problem.
Gulliver, meanwhile, bring us up to speed on what is happening on the front lines of this war right now, particularly in the south of Ukraine.
Well, in the south of Ukraine, there's still this information blackout from the Ukrainian sides about the exact progress of their offensive towards Kherson. But in recent days, a lot of experts and commentators had been suggesting that Russian forces were actually discreetly pulling out of Kherson under cover of their civilian evacuation. Today, the head of Ukraine's military intelligence, Kyrylo Budanov, has weighed in on that debate, saying that what he's seeing is not that. He says that the Russians are regrouping, but they're also sending reinforcements into Kherson city and preparing for fighting in the streets of that city. So perhaps the Russians aren't quite so much on the back foot as some commentators were suggesting.
Gulliver Cragg, live in Kyiv, Ukraine. Thanks very much indeed.